Rondy. No, that's terrible.
Rendezvous. Come on.
I really didn't hit it very well. Anchorage Community Connection. Yeah, we're talking Rondy. It's almost here. It's already that time of year. I am James Gaddis, media consultant, on-air personality for all of your needs. Do voiceover work, photography. Again, enough about me though. John McCleary is here and Jim Hiddle. We're talking Rondy. Fellas, thanks for being on the podcast. Episode 3 or 4. We'll determine that, I guess, at some other point. I shouldn't jump the gun like that, being that these are recorded. Thanks for being here. What's the feeling like as we get close to Rondy this time of year?
This is when the energy starts. It's like a roller coaster ride. We're in that long click, 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 click kind of thing, getting ready to come down the hill and into the big festival that's about 6 weeks away.
Been putting it together for a while now. Is there any stress or panic involved at this point, or that won't be until the night before, maybe?
You know, there's always stress. There's always stress. And trying to get everything, all the events into our guide, all the events lined out so that we can make sure that it is that premier winter festival of Alaska.
It is, and really of our great nation. It's the premier winter event. It is flat out awesome, a lot of fun. And if you're not here, if you're not from here, if you're not from Anchorage, if you're not from Alaska, if you're listening from out of town, lower 48, or around the world, and you're not really 100% sure what Fur Rondy is, for rendezvous, let folks listening elsewhere tell them a little bit about it. It got started back in, I think, 1935?
It started in 35, and it was originally a winter sports tournament that was started because there was a jealousy that Fairbanks, Alaska had such an event. And when the hockey players came back in town, Vern Campbell said, we can do better than that. We'll do a tournament of crazy things, whether it's downtown or around town, and off Fur Rendezvous started. But it wasn't really known as Fur Rendezvous. Rendezvous is a French word called gathering, and so back then in the late 1930s, they felt that the miners and the trappers and people come to town now in late winter to sell their wares, to sell their goods, and so they're having this rendezvous. And because fur was such a prime industry at that time for the state of Alaska, it was a natural to connect the rendezvous to fur, to a festival that can be wacky, fun, and just a way to get rid of the winter blues.
Gotcha. It all made sense. Take that, Fairbanks. 1935. Yeah, the fur part, some people may not be totally on board with it. I enjoy seeing all of it, just how festive things really are, and for an entire week. So I guess that leads us into this year's, the 2019 edition. How are things shaping up? And the biggest question everybody always has is, what's new?
Well, new is going to be fun. We're going to have the Rondy Train Express, courtesy of the Alaska Railroad, that will be taking a Rondy train, family train, down to Indian and back to enjoy this great winter weather. AT&T Alaska, AT&T is putting together a fireworks show that is going to be the largest and tallest in the state of Alaska, using 7 and 8 inch shells that reach 700 to 800 feet high on this Saturday. So we're bumping that up. And then we're also doing the first ever Rondy costume crawl. It's going to be the tailgate party for Rondy on February 8th downtown at the various establishments to get people excited about the costumes so that they can then compete at our Miners and Trappers, which is known as the Northland Mardi Gras.
Okay.
Of costumes and beer judging and just downright an awesome party on March 2nd.
So it's like the pre-party to the ball.
To the party,
Get
to the
people
party.
excited
Yes.
to the party. A crawl. I get the crawl part. I think some people might end up. I'm sure there might be.
And we've got
we've
got some great prizes for those people that get all the stamps together, and we'll have the drawing, and then we're going to have a People's Choice online on Facebook doing the judging of the best costumes that were at the crawl. So we're just going to try something different.
Okay, and some old favorites again for folks who may not be around or might be new to town and don't exactly know what's typically there year in and year out. One of my favorite parts, and it's pretty standard to some, but once you are actually here and experience a Ferris wheel, sometimes in single degree temperatures, it's crazy, but you kind of want to do it again.
And again.
So it includes, you've got the amusement rides.
We have
That's
the
a big
amusement.
one.
We have the amusement rides. We have the fireworks party. We have the parade. We have the frostbite foot race prior to that. Then we've got the 3 days of sprint racing by sled dogs and mushers down 4th Avenue on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we've got the snow sculptures, and we've got, gosh, I mean, just the Jim Beam Jam. And then, of course, then we run into the second weekend with the Charlotte Jensen Arts, a Native Arts Market, the Miners and Trappers, and the Great Alaska Talent Competition.
And along with this tradition is typically the pin. Has that design, that design for the pin, has that been revealed, unveiled yet?
Oh,
and
yes.
if it has, what is it?
In fact, Jim, you're with the Kiwanis Club. You sell the pins.
Right. Yeah, this year we're honoring one of our big events we didn't mention, and that's running with the reindeer. So this year's pin is a graphic representation of the people running down 4th Avenue with the reindeer.
That has become very much
Definitely.
an iconic part now of Rondy. It brings the crowds.
It does.
It is a sight to behold.
Well, it's in its 12th year, and then we've also got the outhouse races by the UAA Engineering Club. That's also become one of those iconic events of our event. Again, this is 90 some events that are put on, 60 of them put on by our community, with 35 nonprofit organizations that are either contributing to it by hosting an event or being part of the Fur Rendezvous family. So, I mean, it is truly a celebration by our community of the end of winter.
It's a fantastic tradition, and I think the woman who cuts my hair told me that back in the day when she was young. Tell me if this is true, and hopefully no kids now are listening, but apparently back in the day, I mean, you'd get off of school to go to Rondy. Is that the case?
Jim?
Is that what I recall?
Yeah, absolutely. The first Friday, starting at Fur Rondy, the kids all got out of school, came downtown, watched the dog sled races. It was fantastic.
Okay. All right. Well, not
True.
the case so much anymore, but I'm just trying to give you a sense of how big it is and was and will be to the community of Anchorage and to folks all over Alaska who come in, especially for those races, which I think will dedicate specific time to, because I know you got some things cooking as well. Just a little bit of a tease to hang on as it relates.
That's correct.
Relates to the dog race in there. So I think we touched on what's new. We touched on we'll call it old, I guess. And then the pins, you need to purchase those before you get there.
Oh,
and you can do that right now.
But that's correct. You can, and our festival through our merchandise, through our pins and buttons and things of that sort, it's about 22% of our revenue that supports our entire festival. It is also a way for the nonprofit organizations to also support their causes, because a portion of that profit they get to keep. And so it's a great fundraiser, like the Kiwanis Club does, as far as helping us put on the festival, but also helping them reach their cause and goals. This year will be our second year for the Rondy Beer Festival, which we're partnering with the East Anchorage Rotary.
And it puts a smile on my face.
And it's going to be at the Performing Arts Center with a connoisseur tasting session, first ever, about an hour prior to the actual festival.
Okay.
And again, it is their opportunity and our opportunity to do something that is creative and reaches to that new Rondy generation, your generation.
All right, then. I'll take it. Yeah. So the connoisseur, what does that entail?
Well, apparently it's going to have some special tastings of various brews that are going to be featured by some 30 different Alaska Brewers Guild members. They're at the Performing Arts Center. We also have the pizza pie contest, and so
You're speaking my language.
yeah. So we're talking
How
pie.
does this work?
We're talking pie and beer on the.
Will they be in the same at the same time?
Same time, same building, and same judging. They're on, I believe it's the 16th of February.
So all pizza. So you're gonna have. So you have multiple brewers and then multiple pizza makers.
Yes.
Multiple shops, multiple restaurants.
Yes.
And so will they be? Is it kind of like there's the Beer and Bacon Festival where people are going out of their way to create a bacon dish that's maybe different or new. Is that going to be kind of the case with the pizza? They'll be showing off their latest and greatest or their best? Or
Well, our hope is they do bring out something out of the oven that is different, because again, they get judged by the participants as far as the people's choice.
Okay.
And as with the beer, the various people that have craft beers, They get to showcase that, and again, we have the belt. It looks like the WWF wrestling belt that goes to the People's Choice of Beer, the brewery's belt, and we also now have a czar of beer.
Can I be your czar of pizza?
Well,
I'm from Long Island, New York, and I'm always like the pizza self-proclaimed pizza expert when it comes down to it. I'll only get it from a few places. I won't name names because I don't want anyone to get upset with me. But
well, I am sure Adam Sturitsky, who puts this whole thing on in the East Anchorage Rotary, would love to have another member helping make the judging work better.
Okay, I'm your pizza guy.
All right.
Done and done. You heard it here first on Anchorage Community Connection. We're gonna pay the bills as they like to say right now. In just a few seconds, we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Kiwanis Club and the Keystone Cups and why you need to have your PIN and how you can go to jail if you don't. This is Anchorage Community Connection.
Hey, my name is Don, and I'm a videographer, photographer, or in general, the Asian guy with the camera. If you need someone for weddings, events, portraits, commercials, podcasts, Instagram, social media, music videos, and everything in between, then shoot me an email at don@donjohnphoto.com. Bye.
Rendezvous, come on!
Oh, it's coming. You're listening to Anchorage Community Connection podcast. We are excited. Rondy, right around the corner. Man, such a good time. Such a party. We were talking about those fireworks. We're going to touch on the Kiwanis Club and the Keystone Cups and the pins and the history and where you can get the merch and some big news in the world of racing as it relates to Rondy and some things that you're working on. But first, I really want to get back to those fireworks because as we went to break, we talked a little bit more about them. This is a special show. This will be like the biggest show in Alaska, and there's a reason for it. The fireworks are special. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on how you were able to put this together? Because it's pretty cool.
Oh, sure, not a problem. The fireworks require a fallout zone for safety, and we are in a location where the fireworks are shot off at our port of Anchorage, and the fallout zone falls in the storage areas and yards of the Alaska Railroad and the port. And because of that, we have the ability to have the largest fallout zone, which then opens the door
to large fireworks.
To the large fireworks.
Yeah.
The 7 and 8 inch ordinances from the Ken Landis Fireworks Company. And so we can shoot the 7, 8 inch shells that reach up to 700, 800 feet tall. Now they're special in that we will be receiving these, or can receive these from Spain, which they're more dynamic in color, more brilliant color, and we're really, really excited that AT&T decided they wanted to ask the question, how can we make it bigger and better? And so we're going to have a show that's going to have the tallest and the largest fireworks show in the state of Alaska because we can.
It is going to be awesome. That and beer and pizza. Just to reintroduce everybody again, because I forgot to at the top. Terrible host, John McCleary, Jim Hiddle, who with the Kiwanis Club, been here since you were mentioning 1970, 71. You came to Alaska.
Yes, that's good.
And you have Rondy pins from then on.
Yes.
You are like the pin collector. you have a museum of pins on your jacket. Which maybe we'll have some pictures we can throw in the YouTube video. So the pin this year, we touched on it a little bit. So how does this work? You're going to be in your Keystone Cup gear for folks who aren't familiar with how it works. What will you and the other Keystone Coppers be doing when folks are at Rondy?
Well, it goes way back to 1965 or the middle 60s. The Kiwanis Club decided that someone needed to enforce the people wearing pins, that you couldn't just wander around in Fur Rondy without having a Fur Rondy pin. So they set up, we actually made a jail that's on a trailer that we pull in the parade, and then we've got another portable jail that we set up in the lobby of the Hilton Hotel. And this year we're going to have one right on 4th Avenue. And so, it's all good-natured fun. In the parade particularly, we arrest a lot of kids and they ride in the parade. And most of them that we arrest are orchestrated by their parents who were arrested when they were kids. They said, put him in jail. So, we leave them ride for a block and we make sure they get back to the appropriate parents.
Do any of the parents ever just say, you can keep them for the day?
Yes,
so
all the time.
I totally get it. It's a great photo op. I think I've seen more kids and adults in jail like that photo than almost anything else. I think folks want to get arrested and have that picture taken. It looks like a lot of fun. So the Kiwanis Club, obviously this event near and dear to them. For folks who don't know, I mean, what do you guys do over at the club?
Well, Kiwanis is an international club in like 110 countries, and its emphasis is on children. It's the motto is saving the world one child at a time. Here in Anchorage, we sponsor key clubs in all of the high schools and basically teach the students leadership skills and community service and get them involved. So, as John had mentioned, we get a percentage of the sales, and of course, when we're arresting people, the way they can get out of jail is to buy a pin. It just so happens we sell pins. So, and then we also sell at numerous stores. Like right now, we have selling at Fred Meyer's on Diamond. We're selling at the Car Store, and other organizations similar to us. The Lions also sell. The Anchorage seniors sell pins, and so it's just a fun way of helping support Fur Rondy.
So again, arrived here in '71 and have been doing Rondy since. There are some people, some families, maybe it comes, but you don't have a lot of time, and you're like, oh, we did it last year. We might have to miss it. You're at all of them. What is it about Rondy that you love the most? That you just can't miss it every year.
To me, it's the dog sled races.
The
first year I attended was '72, and that was back in the days that George Adela and Doc Lombard were running against each other, and it was just so exciting. I couldn't believe it. I'd never seen a dog sled race before that, and I just got hooked on it. I used to take off Friday from work to go watch it.
Being able to get up close and personal, I think one of the best parts with the dogs, the mushers, the kids, and I think that's something we're gonna save. We're gonna use the whole portion of the podcast just for the racing and this big announcement you're gonna make. I think here for the first time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Totally. This is the place. This is where you're gonna get your breaking news. I think from here on in, we're gonna start a trend. Alaska, Anchorage Community Connection. I keep wanting to say Alaska for some reason because I haven't done this 3 times already. Anchorage Community Connection, the podcast connecting Anchorage. Thank you for listening. I think we're gonna go to a quick break, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk races. Yeah. That's the plan.
We are Upper One Studios, Alaska's premier content creation and production company since 2007. We provide services such as video production, web development, and graphic design. No matter the size of your business, Upper One Studios has the team, the experience, and the equipment to fulfill your company's marketing needs at a cost that won't break the bank. Thinking of getting internal training videos for your staff? Maybe some new business cards or banners? Or maybe you need a new website? No matter the job, Upper One Studios will be there to get it done.
Are we singing our way in?
Yeah.
Let's sing our way in again.
Yeah.
On 3. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Rendezvous, come on!
Yeah, it's coming up. This is Anchorage Community Connection, and when we talk about connecting the community, I don't think anything connects Anchorage more than Rondy. Really, the festival. Everybody comes on out. You don't want to miss it, especially for the races. As we mentioned, we're going to dedicate most of this, we'll call it this segment, to the races. A big announcement as it relates to them. But let's start with the good old. What are they? You mentioned it's the NASCAR.
It's a NASCAR of mushing. These are
this is a sprint race.
Sprint races, 3 days over a 25-mile course. Total mileage is 75 miles, and an average finish is about 75 minutes over for the one course.
They run once Friday, then again Saturday, and then again Sunday. The times essentially added up.
Cumulative, and they start at different points during each race. But it's an incredible experience. It started in 1946 between 3 mushers who decided, well, let's put it down. Whose dogs are fastest? And that's what they did. And in 1949, the city jumped in and was putting snow down on 4th Avenue, and they continued to do that, supporting the event. We have to be. I mean, we're a town of over 300,000 people, and we're dedicating downtown to mushing.
It's awesome. If you're from out of town and you've never experienced it, or you're thinking, it's too cold and dark to go to Anchorage in February, it's not, because you'll be here for Rondy and you'll get to see the streets loaded. They truck in sometimes the snow because the sleds need them, and you get to watch these races literally right in the middle of the city. At the same time, you've got that course. You mentioned it's 25 miles. So there are a lot of other access points. I live right off of Chester Creek Trail. So
Beautiful.
It runs down there. So I literally we just wake up in the morning and we walk down the trail, and you'll see families, and they'll bring their coolers and they'll have snacks, and it's a
and they'll ring their cowbells, and they'll just actually have a party on the trail, to encourage the mushers to go faster.
Well, yes, encouraging them, cheering them on, literally just on either side of the trail. It's amazing. There's really nothing like it, and we really want to make sure folks at home know that there is a difference between these races and the Iditarod, which obviously is a completely different event in March. These you mentioned are a sprint. Maybe just to reiterate a little bit, what separates the two races apart?
Well, in terms of the starts, ours is the first weekend of Rondy. Theirs is on that first Saturday of March, and so they have their event that is part of that full calendar of activities. Their dogs are trained differently. Their dogs are more stamina, distance, because they're going 1,000 miles plus for their race, where our races, our mushers, are for that quick, sustained 25 miles of running. We're talking differences in breed. German short hairs can be found in our breed lines because they're more field dogs, fast dogs, running all the time, where their breeds are, again, their dogs are bred for that training and long distance, and it's quite the thorough. They keep track of all the different breeds, all the families, the genetics of each dog. It's incredible what they go through.
It is very cool. I recall the first time I got to take in a race, and I think you have that husky look. Everybody just thinks they're all huskies. They're all just Alaskan huskies. That's all. And then you see the dogs, and you're like, wait, that's not a sled dog. Or what is that dog? But
oh yeah,
they are, and they're raring to go.
Yeah.
It is very cool. So speaking of,
one of the things that we didn't touch on yet, and that's something that we rolled out last year, and that is the community can be part of the handlers of the dogs. It's called the Canine Crews.
Right.
It's a crew of 4 people that can help support the World Championship sled dog races by being these Canine Crew handlers for each of the days of those races. So we're, again, connecting the community as much as we can to this. Basically, it's a state sport. Mushing is our state sport.
So you get to assist by just helping the team out. So you get some one-on-one time with the pups.
Absolutely. Well,
so to speak,
the biggest thing is to keep the dogs calm because they're all excited. They want to go and
keep them calm. Hey, we're gonna play with the dogs.
So as one of the Canine Crew members we're talking about, they just wanted to pet the dogs, keep them calm as they're getting hooked into the harnesses, and then help the musher take them to the start line.
Okay. I keep my dog calm with treats. Is that okay? Is that
you
probably have to ask the musher if it's okay?
You would have to talk to the musher, yes.
Okay.
To the owner.
Okay, I got you. And as it relates to the races, I can't even. I'm just gonna let. I can't read. Okay. Couldn't read my notes for a second. Lots of scribble. Looking to create, and I'll let you elaborate, a new mushing district.
Well, I'm going to. Jim is our project manager on this, so let Jim do it.
We're stepping outside of our normal role of just producing and hosting the Iditarod. This is something really big that we've never done before. But we're proposing to create a mushing district downtown. It would be a 2-block stretch of 4th Avenue from C Street to E Street. The start-finish line is basically right in the middle of that at D Street. And we would create a mushing district that would be designated that by signage. We would put down dog paw prints that we're going to sell to raise money for this. They'd be made out of bronze, and they would be inlaid in the sidewalk. You could have your name engraved or your dog's name, whatever you want to put on them. We'd put banners down both sides of the street featuring our famous mushers. The north side of the street would be the Iditarod champions, of course, Joe Reddington and Susan Butcher and Rick Swenson. And then the south side of the street would be the World Championship sled dog racers, George Adela and Doc Lombard and many, many others. And then we're creating a Hall of Fame, a mushing Hall of Fame in our offices on 4th and D Street. And then the focal point would be a permanent steel arch that would go across 4th Avenue at the start-finish line. It would be a steel truss arch, and it would have the silhouette of a dog team and dogs going across the top of the arch. And that would be a permanent structure that hopefully will be there for 100 years. And what we have in mind is creating a space like many cities have, historic districts. I think of San Diego has their Gaslight District, and Seattle's got the Pioneer Square District. This would be we feel, a real tourist attraction during the summer months, the whole year around. Start to revitalize 4th Avenue, bring people downtown to 4th Avenue. And of course, as John mentioned, this is our state sport, so we want to honor that and recognize, the impact that these dog races have on Anchorage.
And then we were talking about taking it to the next step, in that we'll be also adding this outdoor educational component that will have plaques and banners that will be discussing the state sport, from how important it was to the Alaska Natives as far as out in the bush, the mail carriers, then it became the freight, then it became the gold rush days, then it, as any sport, my dog is faster than your dog, let's have a race, and the history of racing, but also the history of care, the history of genetics, the story about mushing from this community that's embraced the state sport.
There's a whole lot more to it than people realize.
That is true, and we're trying to, and then that outdoor component of education is part of this project called the Mushing District, and we're hoping we can sell these 5-inch bronze paws. Literally, that will go down 4th Avenue to La Cabana, turn right, go south to the bike trail, so that in the summertime the tourists can see where the start line is, but also take a trip down and read about and be educated about our state sport, mushing.
We could dedicate an entire podcast to this. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole too far because there's some other things we want to touch on. But the idea is there, implementing it. Is there anything immediately that you would ask anybody to do to help make this a reality? I'm sure there's a lot of work to do, and maybe some resolutions in the assembly.
Well, we're rolling this out on the 21st. And that is when we'll be fully up for fundraising this grassroots effort.
Okay.
Our goal is $600,000, and it's all going to be, we're hoping, by the community. We're hoping that the community embraces it along with the business community of Anchorage.
Okay, very much a stay tuned. This could be big. I'm interested to see where it leads. All right, we're going to talk some numbers. Zach Sisson is all in, and
Nice.
He loves talking numbers.
I love numbers.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
Essentially. How Rondy has an impact on not just the community, but on the money, on the economy.
Sure. Yeah, and thanks for both of you coming in, because you guys do a big portion of maybe stuff to come and happen after. People get to see some of the non-compete of businesses that come together and say, yeah, I just want to watch some dogs running around in circles, right? And so now I was looking at some numbers there. 78% come from Alaska. 78% of the people that come to Fur Rondy are Alaskans, right? And the other 21.5 or so come from other states, other cities. And we do have 1% international. So that means we have a worldwide, global stake in what Fur Rondy is all about. And what do they need to see when they come to Fur Rondy? What is your opinion on that?
Well, many people want to see the uniqueness of Alaska, and along with the Northern Lights. And what is unique about Alaska is dog mushing, reindeers, the snow sculptures, and then all the fun, the community of fun that we have. And there's so many people that come up just when they're coming up to the Iditarod, and they find out that we've got the running of the reindeer, or they learn about our outhouse races. They want to participate, and so we connect them from their visitation, and we're looking at that they're contributing anywhere from $400 to $500 every day that they stay here. So each day we can continue to hook them to stay that extra day. The business communities down, the business downtown, and all the supporting businesses, whether it's airlines, hotels, they're all being connected by this community festival.
Yeah, the impact is pretty good here. And another component of that is that this is, again, 25-mile race, 3 times, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And what's the average speed of a dog?
It ranges from anywhere from 13 to 17 miles an hour.
I can't even run that fast.
So you're talking about, if you can think of the musher's not sitting on a box, sort of in a daze, hoping, just letting the dog sort of trot. No, they're hanging on. It's moving down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big piece of the pie. When it comes to people staying in Anchorage and why they might want to move, Fur Rondy seems to have the warmth, right, so to speak. And you mentioned that dollar per day. What was that again?
Just under $500 per day.
$500 per day.
Now that was in 2013.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
We're getting ready to launch another economic impact study, and we're looking for volunteers to help us because we're doing this in marriage with UAA.
I like it.
And so we're again wanting to reconnect to see where we're at in today's dollars. Now, I did not mean any disrespect in terms of Iditarod. That is truly an athletic event, and the mushers and the dogs all train just as long. But our sprints are just different.
Nice, very nice. And Jim, you're Kiwanis Club extraordinaire, and we talk about these nonprofits, and 35 actually participate in this festival as well. How do they do that?
They just contact our office down at 4th and D Street. But just for economic impact, our club makes about $10,000 or $12,000 each year, our share of selling these pins, which all goes back to the community. Every cent we raise, we put back into the community in our community service projects. So it's really a great opportunity for any nonprofit to raise some money for their projects.
And then we have where we partner with a nonprofit organization. A good example is the Toys for Tots. When a person runs in the running of the reindeer, when it's all said and done, we split the net proceeds with Toys for Tots. And this last year, we donated to the Toys for Tots, or I should say, the participants who ran in the running of the reindeer, donated $13,000 was what the check was to Toys for Tots.
That's a big
so
deal.
that connection, and then we have many other events. The Lions at the Miners and Trappers is another good event. But again, we're connecting with these nonprofits where they can do the event and share what their mission is, like the UAA Engineering School with the outhouse races, or that they're a recipient of success from the community enjoying the festival.
It's a win-win. Have a good time, maybe
Absolutely.
help a good cause.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Community.
Where do we
Helping
go?
community. It's
Where
what
do we
it's all
go
about.
for more for Rondy information?
www.furrondy.net.
That's official. And you have official Twitter page and official Facebook page and all that fun stuff.
And this is an example of the fun that is in Fur Rendezvous. It's a collage, and then we have the collage of the dogs that are running down, and as you can see the difference.
The booklets will be out and about as well. Make sure to get your pin or Jim will arrest you. He does not care how old you are.
That's very true.
He will throw you in the slammer.
February 9th is when we'll have the Rondy Guide out on the street.
I like it. So we got some breaking news. We heard about some fireworks.
We did. A little bit of everything. Pizza, beer, Miners and Trappers Ball.
You can't go wrong.
There's just way too much to do. It is a great time, again, if you're listening from out of town and you're looking for a last-minute trip. I mean, it's the week. If you want to come during the winter, it is the week to do it.
You're absolutely right. And it's not just for people just as a single event. If you happen to be a curling team in Wisconsin or Minnesota, we have a Rondy curling bonspiel that is part of this event. So
The Bonspiel.
That's right.
I don't know what you just said. What is a Bonspiel?
It's a tournament. It's a tournament.
Okay.
It's a tournament, but up on Government
Curlers
Hill
would know.
We're
in
learning.
our ice
We're
house,
learning. I like it. Okay.
we put out. And in fact, that event started in 1957.
Wow. So much tradition.
You are a curler yourself.
I am a curler.
And something about the squeeze. What is that about?
The squeeze, well, I'm an accordion player, and we have a group called the Alaska Maine Squeeze, and we're your squeeze for music from country to polka.
That's some fun stuff. I like it. James,
I think we're good. Rondy,
Okay.
go. Anchorage Community Connection, Spotify, iTunes. We're gonna be posting all over that Facebook, and of course go to the Anchorage Chamber of Commerce website to learn more about it and to get on to the podcast.
That's right.
As
Very
well.
energetic.
Just website, do it, check it out,
Or become a member.
become a member.
Nothing wrong with that.
Find out all the benefits online. So yeah, maybe we can go out and song too.
I think so.
That
Let's
was
do it.
Anchorage Community Connection, getting you set for
Rendezvous, come on!